You are listening to the Apex Hour, hosted by Ryan Paul on KSUU Thunder 91.1. This show allows more personal time with our guests, allowing them to give us their stories and opinions. We will also give you new music to listen to, hoping you enjoy some new sounds and genres. Welcome to this episode of the Apex Hour. Hello and welcome back to the Apex Radio Hour. My name is Reese Whitaker, the radio producer and engineer for the show, and I am joined, as always, by our student producer, Sophia Javage, and our assistant student producer, Evan Miller, and as well as our host, Ryan Paul, and our special guest, Mr. Vitus Shell. Mr. Shell is a painter specializing in mixed media collages, and he focuses his artistic efforts on capturing the Black experience by utilizing impactful imagery that deconstructs, samples, and remixes identity, civil rights, and contemporary Black culture. Shell has earned a BFA from Memphis College of Art in 2000 and an MFA from the University of Mississippi in 2008. Mr. Shell is also the recipient of several grants, including the Joan Mitchell MFA Award, and as of 2020, he holds the position of visiting assistant professor at Louisiana Tech University. I'm going to turn the floor over to our host, Ryan Paul, and our special guest, Mr. Vitus Shell. Welcome to Cedar City.
I'm excited to be here. I got my snow that I was asking for all week.
Yeah, that's true. We did have some unseasonably springish, winterish weather this last couple of days. So thanks for bringing that in from the little Gulf Stream, little Gulf moisture there from the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
So I want to start with the place in which you were born and the place in which you live. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I was born and raised in Monroe, Louisiana, which is North Louisiana, very conservative part of the state. A lot of times when I introduce myself to people, they assume that all of Louisiana is New Orleans. So they're like, yo, this is my friend, he's from New Orleans. And I'm like, no, it's not New Orleans, it's North Louisiana. So I'm from Monroe. And, a part of what I'm doing with my art and everything is kind of like trying to introduce that part of the country to a lot of different communities.
And you've mentioned this before, that Louisiana actually is divided into almost three sections, right? North Louisiana, South Louisiana,
and then New Orleans.
New Orleans. And none of them claim each other? Is that the idea?
No, we claim each other, but it's like cousins. You fight with your cousins sometimes. Sometimes you hang out with them in public, but sometimes y'all fight over who the coolest or who got the best food, and that's what we do in Louisiana.
Is there a cultural capital of Louisiana? I mean, I know New Orleans will say it's them, but I mean, Mike, is what I'm really asking is, can you talk about the culture of your specific town, North Louisiana?
Yeah, I give credit due to New Orleans, and the culture that's there is very rich. You're going to have some fun. You're going to eat some good food. You're going to see some interesting people. So I give them all credit on that level. So I give a big ups to my cousins in New Orleans. So I don't claim them or anything. And then you got South Louisiana, which is Cajun country, which is Catholic centric, a lot of French influence. And then North Louisiana, which is more the Bible Belt. It's conservative. I guess the background of it is more like agricultural based, farming and logging and all of that stuff is like a big part of the history of that area.
So with your work, you could live anywhere in the world, really, but in the country certainly. Why did you decide to come home, and why do you decide to stay in the American South, specifically in northern Louisiana?
Originally, I was gonna, after I finished grad school and finished that big residency program in Maine, I was gonna be home for 3 to 6 months. And when I got home, things didn't pan out exactly like I wanted them to, and I started to see the importance of having me be at home and be somebody that people could look up to or look to for advice on things, and be a agent of change in my community. So I think that's what happened, And the longer I stayed, the more you start seeing people you grew up with, and you start seeing like, you need to be here because people need to see you and see that it's an example of something different going on.
So let's talk about that path, the path you've kind of been on. So Monroe, Louisiana, where you start, and then let's kind of connect the dots that lead us from Monroe back to Monroe.
Mm-hmm. So in '96, I graduated from high school at the great Wiseman High School in Louisiana.
What was your mascot?
Wildcats. Oh. We were purple and gold like LSU. So, and then I left after graduating in '96 to go to Memphis and to the art school in Memphis. And while I was in Memphis, I became a big part of the Memphis art community. And then after I graduated in 2000, I stuck around a couple years. And in 2005, I decided to go to grad school at the University of Mississippi, aka Ole Miss, and stayed there for 3 years. Graduated in 2008 and went back home in 2008. So
we've shared this, Vitus and I, that I am also an alumni of the University of Mississippi. Ole Miss is where I went to graduate school. So we have shared a unique connection with not only Oxford, mm-hmm. Mississippi, but Memphis, Tennessee, which was a big part of your life and certainly really foundational in
right.
mine. And you've done some work. We'll talk about your art after our first break, but I'm interested in your idea of public art. Right, you've been commissioned to do some pieces, not only obviously at the Civil Rights Museum, but some public art in Memphis. I love the fact that on your bio you talk about painting a mural for the Indianola, Mississippi swimming pool. Mm-hmm. Right, I mean, can you talk about this difference between your connection with public art versus gallery type art that we've seen?
So for me, I started thinking about like who am I and what's the importance of what I'm trying to do, and just showing work in a gallery, I didn't feel like it was doing enough. So I decided to start pushing towards doing murals. And murals is a direct way to connect to the community. And if you got a message, if you're really trying to make a message to a certain group of people, like that's one of the better ways to make a piece of art with public art. And murals for me is also a easy way for some to engage, easy way to engage with the community. So I really liked that as a medium, and that's one of the things I started pushing towards, doing murals and outside of just doing my paintings that go into the museums and galleries. Another thing about that, like a lot of people don't feel comfortable in the museum and gallery spaces a lot of times. So that direct connection between the artwork and the community through murals, to me, was a strong way to connect with people.
Is the process, the creative process, different for you in a mural versus a piece that is probably going to end up in a gallery?
I guess a little bit, but I've been thinking about like ways to kind of push past that. Most of my work that I do and that goes into galleries is a bunch of collaging, but I'm thinking about. I got some ideas of some ways that I can bridge that gap between the work that I make in the galleries and the mural work that I do out in public.
What is the mural at the pool? What is it?
The mural at the pool depicts what's his name? The blues singer. All of the people that are in the mural are from that area. One lady, and I can't remember her name, she was the first postmaster, black postmaster in the country. And that was right out of that city of Indianola. B.B. King is depicted in the mural. And Alice, what's her name? Alice, I can't remember her last name, but she was the first the Matrix movie. She was the first Oracle in the Matrix movie, and then the second one was a different lady, but the first one, who was she's a big actress, and she was I can't remember her name. Alice, it's Alice something, but yeah, that's us in that first mural as far as the people, and then it shows like the culture of that area, pecans, it being I think the pecan capital of Mississippi, and of course it has some cotton, because cotton was also a big part of the agriculture there, and what else was in that? Oh, in the high school, the year that I did the mural, the girls basketball team had just won the basketball championship.
Super cool. As we've talked, and if you've listened to the Apex Radio Hour before, you know that when we talk with our guests, we invite them to share with us some of their songs that resonate with them and talk a little bit about it. So we play them during our breaks, and we've done the same with Vitus. So the first song that we're going to hear that you selected is a song called Humble by Kendrick Lamar. Can you tell us why you chose this particular song?
I'm a big fan of Kendrick, and I'm, so as a person that's been around listening to hip hop since the beginning, I've always been hard. I'm a critiquer. So originally I was hard on Kendrick, but I feel like Kendrick is really capturing what's going on now. He has that what was that name of that album? Damn, is it Damn? The Damn album to me was like really jazzy. It was it wasn't like simple normal hip hop songs with a verse, chorus. It was he broke it down. It was songs that turned into the beat changed, the tempos changed, all these things that I would associate with jazz music, especially live performance jazz. So I thought it was a strong album to use. So
cool. Well, let's listen to Humble by Kendrick Lamar.
Nobody pray for me. It been a day for me. Yeah. Hey, I remember syrup sandwiches and crime allowances, finessing on them with some counterfeits, but now I'm counting this. Parmesan where my accountant lives, in fact I'm down in this. You say with my boo-babe tastes like Kool-Aid for the analyst. Girl, I can buy your Westie world with my base stuff. I know that it's good, won't you sit it on my taste buds? I get way too petty once you let me do the extras. Pull up on your block and break it down, we playing Tetris. AM to the PM, PM to the AM phone. Eat up your per diem, you just gotta hate them funk. If I quit your BM, I still rock Mercedes funk. If I quit this season, I still be the greatest funk. My left stroke just went viral. Right stroke put a baby in a spiral. Soprano C, we like to keep it on the high note. It's levels to it, you and I know. Tell them be humble. Sit down. 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 Who that thinking that he frontin' on me? Get the off my stage. I'm the same man. Get the off my that ain't right. I make a play blowing up your whole life. I'm so sick and tired of the Photoshop. Show me something natural like Afro with your pride. Show me something natural. I wanna feel some stretch marks. Still it take you down right on your mama couch in polo socks. Hey, this is way too crazy. Hey, you do not amaze me. Hey, I blew cool from ACA. Obama just page me. Hey, I don't fabricate it. Hey, most of y'all be faking. Hey, I stay modest about it. Hey, she elaborated. Hey, this that great poop on that AV on that TED talk. Hey, watch my soul speak. You let the meds talk. Hey, if I kill an it won't be the alcohol. Hey, I'm the realest after all. Tell 'em be humble. Sit down. Be humble. tell him sit down. Be humble. 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 Sit down.
That was Humble by Kendrick Lamar. You are listening to the Apex Radio Hour here on KSUU Thunder 91. Also, I was looking over the break of that song. You guys were talking about the pool mural, and that was Mary Alice, who was the actress, and Minnie Cox, and they were the first black female postmasters. And I just thought that was a really cool thing to know. So with that being said, I'll turn it back over to you, Ryan.
Thanks. It's really a cool piece of art if you get a chance to look at it. And I would encourage you, while you're listening to this show right now, take a minute, pull out your phone, and Google Vitus Shell and see some of the art, the specifically Bout It, because we're going to talk about that right now. So you describe yourself as a mixed media collage artist. Can you kind of, I know what all those words mean individually, but put together, describe verbally your visual art.
So as a mixed media artist, I use different medias. I don't only paint. I don't only do printmaking, and I don't only do just collaging in my work. So I usually mix 2 or 3 of those elements in my work. So my work is portrait based. I usually paint images of contemporary Black folk, and I usually paint that on paper. And I cut those out, and I collage the paintings onto collage canvas surfaces for the most part. Sometimes I do drawings on paper, which might have a printmaking element in it, and also some acrylic paint. So the work I usually do is I usually try to mix mediums. I try to think about my work as being non-traditional, and try to go at it like that.
So before we get into this, the subtext, or the actual, I guess it's not really subtext, the true meaning of this, the Bout It exhibit, can you talk about the photography and the process exactly of what you were doing here in this piece of these pieces of work? What you mean? How you enlisted students and A to B kind of thing.
Okay, so for most of my work, and especially for the Bout It show, I do a call for models for the Bout It show, because it was through the University of Louisiana Lafayette. We did a call through the university and a small call out in the public of the city of Lafayette, and from there, I got about 20 people to come through and model and take pictures. Excuse me. I think out of the 20, maybe 12 to 15 made the cut. And normally, the ones that don't make the cut, I still keep those images because they might go in another piece of work. And from there, I work on my iPad. With the images, I paint from my iPad. I usually project my drawings on my portraits onto the paper, draw that out, and then paint my images up from there. So,
and the models choose the outfit, like they come.
Yeah, they come dressed like
dress
them
in a certain way.
No, I don't dress them a certain way. I just in my calls I usually do like come dressed dapper, or stylish, or hip, and allow them to pick out what that might be. And from there, even when we get into the stages of painting, I sometimes make a choice like, I don't want this shirt to be white. I want it to be yellow, or I don't like that color of the pants. Let me give it a little pop, right? Or the shoes or something like that. So they have a lot of agency in what they look like, and then from there I kind of put my little twist on it.
It's interesting that you say that, because often my my dress style has been described as dapper, stylish, and hip as well. So
yeah, I've noticed.
Yeah, thanks.
Over the last 3 days.
So do you take the photographs, or do you have a someone else do that? I mean, are you solely on all aspects of the creative process here?
I like taking my own photos. I'm not the best photographer. I'll put that out there. But I like taking my own photos because it gives me a chance to interact with the model. I like to talk to them. I like to get to know them. I like to help them loosen up. And I think that interaction also helps with when I start to paint. You know, you notice all of those little things, and it shows up in the work. So, I like to do my own photographs. I've had people to even offer to do that, and I'm like, nah, I think I want to do it because I just like that interaction between me and the models.
Speaking of interaction, you shared the story earlier about the call that you had, or you had been working on the collection, and you somehow felt like it's not done. And I want to talk about how you know when something's done, but you needed something else. Can you kind of tell the story about the rap video and how that all played out?
Yeah. So as I was putting the show together, and I was at the end, I had all of my models. I had done probably 3/4 of the work for the show, and I was still finishing up a couple pieces. I didn't feel like I had quite captured the whole community because most of the models were students or like working professionals, and I wanted more kind of urban to kind of like balance it all the way out. So we did a call for models at the MLK Center in Lafayette, in one part of the community in Lafayette, and absolutely nobody came for the shoot, which was fine because I know that at that point I wasn't connected to that Lafayette community like I needed to be. And as we were packing up to leave the center, it was a group of guys out in the parking lot shooting a rap video. And it was me and the curator from the museum in Lafayette. We were together, and I asked him, I was like, yo, I think those are the guys that we need. And he was like, yeah, I think so too. And he was like, you want me to? I asked him, do he want to go over, or should I go over? And he was like, I think you should. So I went over, and of course the guys were a little hesitant at first. They didn't know who I was, but I started talking. I think I introduced the person that talked to me the most was the photographer who was shooting the video. He was a student at LSU, and once we started talking and I showed him what I was doing and everything, the rest of the guys kind of got in line and were willing to participate.
And became part of the exhibit.
And I took pictures of 5 of the guys. Only 4 of them made the exhibition.
So there's the cutthroat world of rap and art.
Right. Well,
it's like the fifth Beatle.
Right. It was a guy. The 5th guy. The reason he didn't make it was his energy for the shoot was kind of like off. I knew he was kind of like joking around, so that energy cost him his spot.
I think it's interesting that you talk about this. Decisions and editing that you make in the creative process. For you, first of all, my first question is, can you in your mind, how do you define creativity?
I don't know. I think creativity for me is a lot of things. The way you dress, the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you express yourself. I think creativity is a lot of things. I like the conversation that's being had now about athletes and the creativity that they have to use in doing what they do. So I think it's a lot of creativity is a lot of things.
So is it would you say your creativity or what causes you to create the drive, is it more of an internal or is it an external type of thing?
If it's an external, what does that mean?
I mean, is externally, you have lots of inputs and muses, if you will, that kind of cause you to do that, that you create for an external audience, or you create external forces help you in your creativity, or do you think it is driven from you as some would say, if you're a religious person, it's a God-given gift. Others would say it's some kind of energy or whatever. Does it come from inside, or is it outside forces that help drive your creativity?
Can I answer both?
Sure.
Okay, so both. I'm gonna go with both. Because I feel like it is things that drive the work externally, like me wanting to comment on something. People might not normally want to hear my voice, so if I make a piece of art, that's a way that they can hear me without me saying anything. So that's I think that's external, and then internal is I do this regardless if I was exhibiting or not. I still draw, and I mean I got drawings that the world will never see, hopefully. That's just in a sketchbook or on a loose leaf piece of paper.
So in your work, how do you know when you're done? Like when do you say it is finished?
I don't know. I guess for me, I look at the composition. I think about things that I'm thinking about that I want to be in the work. I'm always looking for a foreground, middle ground, background in my work, so I try to push those elements, and also, like, at some point, it's like a kid, you gotta let it go, right? So you gotta eventually, you can't overwork it by overthinking it. So a lot of times I just let it go and just kind of move on from there.
Is that one of the key advices you give to your art students?
Yeah, I think sometimes they let it go a little earlier than they should, because they don't have that experience of really understanding when to keep working it or when not to.
So in your work, do you, like, when you start a project, is it driven by a vision of what you have as the result? Or does oftentimes the result come from the process of creation?
I think, I say both again. Sometimes I have a vision what the thing should be, and then like for the life, liberty, and justice piece, the big piece with the lady sitting on the ground with the white roses being stamped all over it. Originally it was just her sitting there, and then I felt like it needed something else, and I added those roses to it.
Cool. So we're chatting with the Grace A. Tanner visiting artist Vitus Shell, and we're going to move on to our next break as we talk about creatives. Lil Wayne and a song called "A Millie." What do you want to say about that?
It's just I think it's just a good turn up song. So sometime in my studio I just need like some turn up. Like it might be 2 a.m. I need something to crank me up. So
as Reese has often said to me, turn it up.
Oh, I got one more thing. And Wayne from Louisiana, and Wayne is the probably king of hip hop in Louisiana. So of course you can't not play some Wayne.
All right, Lil Wayne, "A Millie."
Your money. Mac, I'm gone. A millionaire, I'm a young money millionaire, tougher than Nigerian hair. My criteria compared to your career just isn't fair. I'm a venereal disease, like a menstrual bleed through the pencil and leak on the sheet of the tablet in my mind, cause I don't
on right. Cause I ain't got time. Cause my seconds, minutes, hours go to the almighty dollar and the almighty power of that chopper. Sister, brother, son, daughter, father, motherfucker, copper. Got the Maserati dancing on the bridge. Pop it, tell the coppers, ha 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 ha. You can't catch them, you can't stop them. I go by them goon rules. If you can't beat them, then you pop them. You can't man them, then you mop them. You can't stand them, then you drop them. You pop them, cause we pop them like over red and vodka. Motherfucker, I'm ill. Yeah. A million here, a million there. Sicilian bitch with long hair, with coconut dairy gear, like smoking the thinnest air. I open the Lamborghini, hoping them crackers see me. Like, look at that breezy. He's a beast, he's a dog, he's a motherfucking problem. Okay, you're a goon, but what's a goon to a goblin? Nothing, you ain't scaring nothing. On some friggin' bullshit, call him Dennis Rodman. Call me what you want, call me on my sidekick. Never answer when it's private. Damn, I hate a shy chick. Don't you hate a shy chick? Had a plate of shy chicks. She ain't shy no more. She changed her name to my chick. Yeah, boy, that's my girl. And she pops excellent up in Wayne's World. And it ain't trickin' if you got it. But you like a bitch with no air. You ain't got shit. Motherfucker, I'm ill, not sick. And I'm okay, but my watch sick. Yeah, my drop sick. Yeah, my Glock sick. And my knot thick. I'm it. Motherfucker, I'm ill. Yeah. See, they say I'm rapping like Big J and Tupac, Andre 3000. Where is Erica Badu at? Who that said they gon' beat Lil Wayne? My name ain't big, but I keep that flame name. Who that wanna do that, boy? You knew that, you that swallow. And I be this shit, now you got loose bowels. I don't owe you like 2 vowels, but I would like for you to pay me by the hour. And I'd rather be pushing flowers than to be in the pen sharing showers. Tony told us this world was ours, and the Bible told us every girl was sour. Don't play in the garden and don't smell her flower. Call me Mr. Carter, Mr. Lawnmower. Boy, I got so many bitches like I'm Michael Lowry. Even Gwen Stefani said she couldn't doubt me. Motherfucker, I say life face without me. Chrome lips poking out the coop look like it's pouting. I do what I do and you do what you can do about it. Chaka turn a crack rock into a mountain. Damn man, don't you compare me, cause there ain't nobody near me. They don't see me, but they hear me. They don't feel me, but they feel me. I'm ill at C3, 3P.
That was A Milli by Lil Wayne. You were listening to the Apex Radio Hour here on KSUU Thunder 91.1. I'll turn it back to you, Ryan.
Thank you, Sophie. So one of the things that we talked about in the beginning was the subtitle of this exhibit. So about it, the politics of just being. And it kind of goes back to this hashtag that you mentioned earlier today, hashtag While Black. Mm-hmm. Can you link your thought? Can you link those together? Like, how does this talk about that, please?
So the whole hashtag of While Black became popular because these incidents were going viral of black folks doing random, normal human things, but the police being called on them for doing these things. A little kid selling water or lemonade, the police being called on them because they don't have a permit. But, you know, who would think that that would be something that somebody would push, especially for a kid, you know? Or a guy mowing the yard and the police called on him because the person didn't know if he was supposed to be at that house. Or the family in the park barbecuing and somebody complaining, calling the police about that group of people barbecuing in the park. And the list goes on and on. And while this might be a hashtag and something that seems to be like new, it's not a thing that black folks haven't experienced before. It's a thing that's long happened. The police being used as a a tool to attack black people. So for me, I wanted to create work to give black people just a chance to just be, and in that just being, that's still being a form of resistance or and it's being a political act in just being able to be, and it seems like why would we even be having a conversation about people, Americans, being able to just exist without anything being attached to it? But that's the reality when it comes to certain communities. So,
which if you look at the images that you've created from this exhibit, which I think are, and then we've talked about this, in many ways defiant, but not outright. I mean, there's a way to be defiant, like I'm going to flip the bird, or I'm going to be aggressive, but just the act of being is
a sign of resistance. Yeah.
And I think that's really interesting in the way these models are posed and the way they're done, and this combination of really ancient Christian iconography. I mean, if you look at these old images of Jesus and others that are kind of gold, have the gold with them, and these kind of I'm stumbling here, but you know what I'm saying, right?
Icons, the images
icons.
are the icons. The saints, the Jesus is the images of Mary, the Virgin Mary. They were all a part of that original royalty, high end art that was made, and it was usually commissioned by the church, which was usually one of the few places that had money to do things like that. So, and then the long history of who all was included. So, and just being able to be documented. So we talked about that earlier too. You know, that who could be photographed and whose images are being showcased in that same way too, right? And how if you're not important, or you don't have a say so in certain things either,
or you don't exist,
right? And you don't exist,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, we mentioned that, you know, as a historian, I think about, you know, if these images of people, I mean, they just don't. If I don't know the story behind them, they don't exist. I mean, one of the reasons I can point to directly of when I decided to become a historian was a photograph of the dedication of the Brooklyn Bridge. And I had this, I don't know if it's an epiphany or not, but this idea that once that photo was done, whatever, when the flash went off, that each one of these people had people that loved them and hated them, and they had hopes and desires and dreams. And I wanted to know those stories, right? And I think that's indicative of your work as well. Like, you look at these images and think, that is a story that I want to know. And I think one of the challenges that we have is the assumption is, well, it is the black experience, that all black people have the same experiences, which is obviously patronizing and not correct. Right.
And exactly. So yeah, when I'm making work, like, I have to be open to that. Like, you know, of course, not all black folks are seeing the world the world the way I see it. You know, so I not understand that. I come from a Southerner that's always been into hip hop, you know, and the way I'm thinking about the work that I'm making is also influenced by the history of the South and how black folks were treated. I'm also I got a college education, so it's a little different from some of my friends' experience as a black person. So, you know, all of those things kind of play into the work that I make.
I wonder if you could talk about the role of gender in your work, because obviously, as you look at your work, there are, you know, it's men and women and those kinds of things. But how does the idea of gender play into what you're doing here in this exhibit?
So so when I went to the gender studies class, I talked about a lot of times when I'm painting images of women or any other non-binary person, I have to consider the dynamics between me and that person, and I'm careful of how I kind of approach that. Right, I have to be mindful of even my shortcomings as a person that's trying to be conscious of what's going on around within different communities, other black community, and their I guess sensitivities and all of that stuff, things that they're concerned about, things that they don't want to be ways they don't want to be showcased or whatever. So my first step is always trying to read and be educated on things that they're writing and they're saying, and then really being careful in how I depict them once I start my paintings.
So, and speaking of that issue, there's one specific color that you focus on. I mean, that if you look at your work, obviously they're African American, but they're surrounded by gold. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, there are other colors in there, but layers and layers of gold. Can you talk about why that choice exists there?
The gold connects to a lot of things. It connects to the gold from Cash Money, the bling bling era. It connects to the African use of golds, the medieval use of golds, of gold. It connects to a lot of things. So for me, I wanted it to connect to this long history of portraiture, and that's why I used the faux gold frames, so that if you look at the images of the work, you'll think it's in the gold frame, and then when you start really looking close, you'll see that it's a faux frame. It's not even wood. It's just canvas, and I build those canvases up by collaging more and more cutouts on top of that, and then paint over that to kind of mimic the gold frame.
And the pieces in this exhibit, it's very interesting, is that you choose deliberately not to frame them. Mm-hmm. Right? They're hung on loose canvas. Can you talk about why you made that choice as well?
Yeah, the history of art, me being a non-traditional artist, which was normally just white men. So when I make decisions on how I want to present work, how I want to make work, I'm always thinking about rules I don't have to abide by. I don't have to abide by stretching my canvases on stretcher bars, and that being the end result. So I think about even presentation. I would like for my pieces to have that feel of a poster or a sign, a vinyl sign. And then so in my canvases, the unstretched canvases, they have grommets in the corners, and it hangs directly on the wall like that. And sometimes because the canvases have a mind of their own, they start to kind of come from the wall a little bit, with heat and moisture. They might fold one way or this or the other. So and I kind of like that too. Sometimes it's a problem for the gallery and museum people, but I like that when it starts to do those things,
because it's a living piece, right?
Yeah.
It takes on a life of its own. How have the models in this group resonated? I mean, has the artwork resonated with them? Have they seen it?
Oh yeah. For the Lafayette show, they all showed up. They had family members to come. I did a TV interview with one of the models who. Her name is Chelsea Brown, who's also a radio personality. So she had a lot of personality just when we did the photo shoot. She knew what she wanted to do as far as her poses, and she was very confident in everything. So, everybody came out to see the show or whatever.
So what's next? I mean, in your creative movement, what is next in your thought process? What are you working on now, if you can tell us, or what is the thing that is in the next page of the journal?
I think it's these pieces that I've been wanting to create for a while called Platinum Football Fields, and it's based on a song by it's based on something Baby from Cash Money said in the #1 Stunner song. And for me, when he was talking about he just bought himself a brand new platinum football field, it was about prosperity, like owning things. So the platinum football field pieces for me are gonna be about ownership, but how highways were used to take ownership from certain communities. So that's the work that's the one I'm interested in right now. And those pieces are I'm planning on being really big too. So they're gonna be even bigger than the paintings and the.
What is the average size of Bout It?
About 5 feet by 8 feet.
Are they going to be this new exhibit, the Platinum Football Fields, the same process, photographs and mixed media, or are you using something different?
It's gonna be similar. I'm gonna be I haven't started on them yet, so it's really like in my head right now, but it's gonna be similar.
So, do you think that your work is exemplifying the blackness of the American experience as a subset of the American experience, or as something completely different? Does that question make sense?
Mm-hmm, yeah. I think I don't know. I guess in a sense, and I think with black folk, when I talk to black people, when we talk about things, I feel like all we want to do is be equally a part of the American experience, of society experience, right? But these are things that exist outside of our even, being able to control things. It's these things exist outside of that. So in the things that the work that I make, it's just about these experiences that happen to us that also need to be analyzed and critiqued in order for us to move forward. I think it's so much of so many times we don't want to have that conversation. We've been taught not to have a conversation. We scared that if we had a conversation, it shows something that happened with our family. It shows a weakness in some of our heroes as a country. But the reality is, in order for us as a country to move forward and really be strong, I think these conversations have to be had, and we have to acknowledge that this is a thing and this is how we fix it. So
we as a collective,
right?
Not we as individuals,
right? Because it's always a collective thing. If it's a war come up, then we're not just sending white soldiers over to another country. We sending everybody. It's white, black, poor, maybe not too many rich folks, right? But Hispanic, everybody's being sent over, and then we are all fighting for America. But when it comes to issues that really need to be addressed inside the country, that we don't have that same energy.
Yeah, fascinating. So let's move on to our final break before we get into the last segment of the show. This is a song called Hotel Lobby by Quavo and Takeoff. Can you give us a comment here about this?
Quavo.
So, see, there you go. See.
And Takeoff. So Takeoff just was killed a few months ago. So I wanted to do something with Takeoff and Quavo, and this is another one of those good fun hype songs. Like the music I'm picking is not about like some deep meaning. It's just about like being able to have some fun and relax and just enjoy.
That's true, because we can't do a whole set list of Isaac Hayes right now, right?
Right.
Right. All right.
Stevie Wonder.
There you go.
Right.
Quavo and Takeoff, Hotel Lobby.
Let's get it. Hop off a 16 passenger. This a G5, no, this not a Challenger. Big one. I keep some members with me in the fridge. Get coat seats, they some cannibals. Eaters. They like to geek. Drink a whole bottle, wake up and repeat. She took a look, mixed it with the chill out. Now she said she saying 3D. Wow. I go in the jungle and they got a coat. I bet I come out with a mean. I bet I do this for the fam, cause this bigger than me. Color stones in my infinity lane. And in the factory masterpiece. I call him twin, could that be my brother? We got the same roller, he matching me. Nah, for real.
Water on me like the sauna. Some carrots, some pointers. All these commas, I want fun. Me go gunners out the jungle. Buy it off. Cake on me, no funnel. Cash. Drop top feeling like stunner. Drop top. KD play no runner. We gon' chrome my wallet. Smoke my pilot. Take the revive to the trappers. Trappy. I was outside just serving narcotics. Pay me that stick. Made one wrong move, just pop it. Living on broke with the flooded out in the hotel lobby. Flooded. It's crowded. Diamonds be dancing like Bobby. They dance. Don't touch it, dick. Give you cocky. Don't touch it. We get you. Gon' trend on the top. Keep trending. The way I pull up, I'ma pop it, and none of these niggas gon' stop. Pull up. Gone. Put that don't get a cup for the drip on my 5 kilo. Keep stacking your bank and get bigger. Never would, I throw some shade on it. On tape, look, don't play with it. I see the big picture, we up on it. The huncho, the one you gon' call on me. I got your back, you gon' follow me. When I get up, we gon' ball on it. Look, cause we beat out the system. Water on me like the sauna. Some carrots, some pointers. All these commas, I want fun. Me go gunners out the jungle. Buy it off. Cake on me, no funnel. Cash. Drop top feeling like stunner. Drop top. KD play no runner. We gon' chrome my wallet. Smoke my pilot. Take the revive to the trappers. Trappy. I was outside just serving narcotics. Pay me that stick. Made one wrong move, just pop it. Living on broke with the flooded out in the hotel lobby. Flooded.
That was Hotel Lobby by Quavo and Takeoff. You were listening to the Apex Radio Hour here on KSUU Thunder 91.1. I'll turn it back to you, Ryan.
Thank you, Sophie. We have reached the last segment that we always do here at the Apex Radio Hour, which so now this my suggestion to you all listening, even on the podcast, is to get your pencils out and to write down what's happening, because some of the coolest people I know are sitting in this room, and they're about to drop some serious cool stuff on you. So, all right, Vitus Shell, what are you currently watching, reading, or listening to that is bringing you joy?
I'm trying to find it now. Okay. What's bringing me joy? I had to think about it because my first answer was Wu-Tang, which was, I think it's just informative. Like it's not making me excited. So what makes me happy right now? I'm watching Moon Girl and the Devil Dinosaur with my kids. So that makes me happy.
That makes me smile. I love Moon Girl. Have you ever read the comic?
No, I haven't.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, my good friend Reese Whitaker, what are you currently watching, reading, or listening to that is bringing you joy?
So last week, Thunder 91 put on a local artist event called Guitars Unplugged. It was for acoustic, but it really got me into listening to some of the local musicians here in Cedar City. And we have one. They're called Apollo's Army. They're like an alt-rock band. And it's my personal opinion, because I won't speak for the station, that they're the best local artists we have, especially for my taste. I've been turning it up, as Ryan said earlier. Their song called "The Giver." Sophia's losing it.
Sorry.
The song called "The Giver," and for me, our program director tries to get my music taste. Like, she'll try to send me songs that she thinks I like, and I normally don't like whatever she sends me, because I can't pinpoint my music taste. But "The Giver," its chorus, it just has it. Whatever it is for me, it has the sound that's like, this is an enjoyable song, this is amazing, and the chorus is only four lines. Like, it doesn't have to be a whole long thing, but It's really great. Apollo's Army, The Giver. Listen to them.
Is it Apollo's Army like the Greek god Apollo, or is it Apollo's Army like Battlestar Galactica? Please tell me it's Battlestar Galactica, because that would be cool.
I mean, yeah, I would say a little bit of both, you know?
Cool. All right. Assistant producer, Evan Miller, what are you currently watching, reading, or listening to that is giving you joy?
Currently, I think animated movies in general have been bringing me joy. Recently, I saw Puss in Boots with the family, the new one. I thought that was really entertaining. I really appreciated the art style that they animated the movie in. Saw Ratatouille again recently. Great movie. Things like that. I enjoy that expression of art.
So, what about Moon Girl and the Devil Dinosaur?
I have not seen it yet, but I'll put it on the list.
You're missing something. All right. Senior producer, Sophia Javage, what are you currently watching, reading, or listening to that is bringing you joy?
Okay, so Vitus kind of laughed at me when I picked him up the other day to take him to one of his events. I was listening to a lot of Taylor Swift on repeat, and she's going on tour, and I'm going to her concert, and Taylor Swift just brings me so much joy because that's what I listened to all throughout high school. That's what me and all my friends would listen to, and next weekend we're actually all going to meet up to go to her concert together, and I don't know how we were that lucky because I haven't seen all of them together in like 4 years, but Taylor Swift is currently sparking me joy. I think it's a really unifying thing.
And you all got tickets. That's the miraculous thing.
Don't know how, but yes.
Is this the tour like where she performs in the same city twice and has multiple different opening acts? So you're going to Vegas, I assume.
Yeah.
Which
I'm going Saturday night.
So who else is playing?
Oh, this is so bad. Don't ask me that.
You don't know?
No.
So they're not bringing her joy.
I want to say, like, my disclaimer, like, the reason the Taylor Swift thing was funny to me is because in my class I often play music, and I allow my students to pick out something, and I got this one Taylor Swift fan that's a fanatic. Not a fan, just a fanatic.
Called Swifties.
Yeah.
Swifties, hey.
And I have to ignore her because she's always like, Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift.
She is pretty great. What can I say?
No, it's good for once a quarter or a semester, but not every other class. So
some people have good taste and some people don't.
What are you trying to say?
Oh my God!
But
wow.
Going into that, Ryan, what is currently sparking you joy?
I am rediscovering the complete singles collection from Stax Records. And if you don't know Stax, it was an independent recording label in Memphis, Tennessee. So, Sun Studios, of course, the birthplace of rock and roll in many cases, Johnny Cash, Elvis, Carl Perkins. Stax is the birthplace of soul music. Anybody who is anybody of soul music came out of Stax in Memphis, and it's not something that we hear about often, but if you ever can dig into the Stax collection, probably their most famous, Isaac Hayes comes from Stax.
Booker T and the MGs.
Booker T and the MGs, Green Onions
that's one of my grandmother's favorite songs.
Yeah, was their studio band, and they were integrated. I mean, some of the best guitar playing you'll ever hear from Steve Cropper. So, and Donald Duck Dunn on bass. It's an amazing thing. So the Stax Records catalog, in contrast to Motown, which was known as Hitsville, USA, Stax, they were an old movie theater, had the marquee that said Soulville, USA.
Right.
So if you want to listen to some amazing soul music, the complete Stax recordings.
And if you ever go to Memphis, go ahead and visit Stax Records.
Yes, you will not be disappointed.
Right.
So with that, we would like to thank our Grace A. Tanner visiting artist, Vitus Shell, for coming on the Apex Radio Hour, and we will go out with one of the songs you chose, Rich Flex by Drake and 21 Savage. Do you want to say anything about it?
Nope, just turn it up. Turn it up.
Right.
Thank you all for listening to the Apex Hour on KSU Thunder 91 FM, Cedar City.
Hit the club, pay for about 10, get in, we crunk, lit, in it. Yeah.
No, we walk around the world, stepping out, giving a damn by where our feet land at. Yeah. Get y'all mushed, smushed. Yeah, 21. biggest. Put a in the chicken wing.
21, can you do something for me?
21.
Can you hit a little rich flex for me?
21.
Then 21, can you do something for me?
21.
Drop some bars to my ex for me. Then 21, can you do something for me? Can you talk to the ops next for me?
Okay.
21, do your thing. 21, do your thing.
21.
Do your thing. 21, do
Yellow
your
diamonds
thing.
in the watch. This costs a lot. Never send a bitch or die. That's how you get shot. I DM in vanish mode. I do that a lot. Took her panties off and this thicker than a plot. All my S's ain't nothing. Them busted. If my ops ain't rapping, they ducking. You ain't ready to pull the trigger. Don't clutch it. I know you on your baby. Can you? I'm a savage. 21. Smacker, booty, and magic. I slap a with the ratchet. I might slap a track on this whip and get the addy. Don't call me on Christmas Eve. Call your dad. 21. Call your uncle. 21. Don't call me. 21. Always in my ear, yo, a fleet. Why my ops be posting guns and only use they feet? 21. Paid like an athlete. I got
all you. All of you need to remember who y'all talking to. It's the Slaughter Gang CEO. I got for you if I'm not working, girl. If I'm busy, then no. You need to find you someone else to call when your bank account get low. You need to find you someone. Hey, 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 hey. I'm on that Slaughter Gang. Hey, murder gang. Hey, Slaughter Gang. Hey, murder gang. Hey, sticks and stones, chrome on chrome. That's just what on. Internet clones got them kissing through the phone. Clicking up so they don't feel alone. Hey, man, seeing me, I'm young money CMB. I used to roll with CMG. The house is not a B&B. The bad waiting on a like I'm P&D. I'm steady pushing PTSD. I told her to kiss me in the club for TMZ. I used to want a GMC when what was doing B&E. We revving up and going on a run like we DMC. I lay up with her for a couple days, then it's BRB. Rappers love asking if I when you know he did. When you know he did. She came in heels, but she left out on a cozy. Hey, I'm living every 24 like Kobe did. Shout out to the 6, RP to 8. Swear it is getting 8. I'm on 10 for the cake. Get a lot of love from 12, but I don't reciprocate. 51 division, stay patrolling when it's late. 21 my Eddie, so the knife is on the gate. All the dogs eating off a Baccarat plate. See Drake and they underestimate. Take it from a vet, that's a rook mistake. Ayy.
Boy, look, you the man. Boy, you is the man. You hear me?
Thanks so much for listening to the Apex Hour here on KSUU Thunder 91.1. Come find us every Thursday at 3 p.m. right here on Thunder 91. We would love for you to come to our events on campus. For more information, check out suu.edu/apex. Until next time, that was the Apex Hour on Thunder 91.1.